Hi Pisces, welcome to your Lunar Eclipse in Aquarius special with me, Raphael.rey from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So, before we start, I would like to bless these notes and these cards with all intuitions that come forward with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. I'm actually sweating after the previous reading because it was so powerful. And the interesting thing is, out of all of the notes that I've got, I had the most notes for Pisces and the lunar eclipse that's taking place. Right. And why do I have the most notes? I think it's because this is happening in your 12th house. So first things first, lunar eclipse. The moon represents the past anyway. You know, the moon rules I think it's the 12th house as well, yeah, and the 4th as well. It's worth noting. And you know, the thing is, the lunar eclipse brings you a culmination. It brings you a completion or an ending of some sort. Now when you know, this culmination energy, it's not necessarily a bad thing. When you think about a pregnancy, when a woman comes to full term, she's at the full moon, but once she's had the baby, that is an ending. It's an end of pregnancy, but it's a beginning of life. And that's, you know, that's really worth hanging on to, that motif. Although this is bringing an ending and a culmination of sorts, it's a really deeply positive thing as well. You know, because it's clearing the decks for new stuff, new energy to come in. Mars going retrograde. Mars hates to go retrograde because Mars is about forward progression. It's about your energy, your dynamism, your how you step forward, how you assert yourself in the world, how you do what you do. It's the energy, the passion and the drive. And when that's retrograde, it tends to internalize itself. When that energy goes internal, what I believe is, although with the lunar eclipse, everybody's emotions are going to be heightened and to the surface, add to that the internalized Martian energy is going to make you really all of our emotions are going to be really intense. All of our emotions are going to be really close to the surface. Remember, this is happening for all of us, not just to you or your sign. It's happening to all of us. So we're all collectively going to be feeling really, really tense, really tightly wound. You know, but that can be a good thing because when Mars goes retrograde, it makes you more strategic. It makes you really precise. That's the experience that I'm having of Mars retrograde. It makes you more precise. Because the energy can't go outward, it has to go inward. And because it can't do anything, it makes you start to think about the actions that you're about to take. It makes you plan the actions that you're about to take. You know, Mars retrograde, I'm sure any of the chess players out there are probably doing amazing right now. You know, because that energy is really there. Instead of just like, I'm going to go in and destroy this person, it's like you're really thinking about the steps ahead. You're really, you know, just like a chess player. Mars makes you more strategic. It makes you more precise. This is going to be conjunct the South Node. South Node is about karmic clearing, karmic ending. It's about karmic release. And so when you see these three, you know, well, one planet, one luminary and one astrological point of reference in one space, this to me culminates to a deeply eliminative energy. It's going to allow you to really let go of, or like Mars, the surgeon, cut out or remove something, you know, and really remove it like for good. This is going to see you really being able to stamp something out or let something go, and in a big powerful way as well. This is going to be happening in the house that is naturally ruled by your sign, which is amazing. This will give you a deep understanding of what is taking place, and it won't necessarily give you any, although it won't necessarily give you any sway over the culminations that take place. Now, in the 12th house, we find universal wisdom, we find empathy, we find a deep connection to source, we find no boundaries between us and other people. You know, Pisces are amazing empaths, they really are. You know, they can read your emotions, they can read the emotions in the air. You know, Pisces, Cancer and Scorpio are the natural empaths of the zodiac. But, you know, when you think about it, I always say that, because a lot of people say like, oh, Pisces is the most psychic sign. Actually, it's not. Cancer is the most psychic sign in my personal belief. Pisces is the most truly empathic sign in you know, like in terms of feeling other people's emotions, reading the emotions in the air. That is Pisces all over, because there are no boundaries. Feelings don't have boundaries. Energy doesn't have any boundaries, you know, and so Pisceans are really well equipped to utilize and read that kind of energy. This house will also see the moon enjoys spending time here because of its ethereal and watery nature, and it can see us really looking into, and it will be working its mojo in the deepest recesses of who you are. This is going right deep to your past, to your subconscious, and I don't mean just like your psychological subconscious, like the things that you repress and don't let up. I'm talking about your soul subconscious, like the deepest parts and recesses of self. You know, it's like, you know, with certain types of fish that can swim on the ocean floor without being squished to within an inch of their life because of the pressure. You know, Pisces is a fish. This is going to allow you to go really deep into your past, into your connection with your mother, into your connection with who you are, where you came from, the lineage of your family, and not necessarily in a fourth house respect. I'm talking about the spiritual stuff that is attached to your family. This, I really feel, will see you having random flashes of telepathy, prophetic dreams. And remember, obviously 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after is going to be the heightened period of the eclipse, but its energy and its implementations tends to unpack over like 6 months. So this is a really powerful time for dreams. So for prophetic dreams, pay attention to your dreams, because they will be heightened and they will be talking to you, and probably very loudly as well. You know, random flashes of telepathy I really feel will be in there somewhere as well. And I say the random flashes of telepathy because you've got the square to Uranus, which is higher octaves of thought, which is happening in your 3rd house. So this is like it's like communication, but it's also communication square your past, and you know, the magic and the mysteries of the universe. This can see you really being in a space to genuinely read people's thoughts. Utilize that power carefully and use it with reverence and respect for the people that you interact with, because it could turn on you. You know, I always give warnings with things like that, because it reminds me of a saying in a film, like if you have that kind of ability, what stops you from then becoming a tyrant and using it for selfish, nefarious purposes? Use it for the best and the highest. Use it for healing if you can. 12th house healing. Lunar eclipse brings an ending. It's a full moon. It brings a culmination, things to fruition, and possibly even a blessing or a wish fulfilled. Absolutely. This will be providing us a real chance to, like a surgeon, precisely but consciously remove something from our lives and make a real point to release something. In your case, this can be something from your past because of the 12th house energy. It can see you going really deep into your personal baggage as well, you know, because in the 12th you find, like I said, it's your past, but it's not just this past, it's like the whole past of your soul. And you know, the Akashic records, if you want a glimpse of your entire life, do some deep meditation around this time. Do some deep contemplation on something that you would like to do going forward. Examine your past, examine who you are, examine the lessons that have accompanied your life, because if you look into those, you might be able to just truly, you know, it's almost like you go so deep into your own past that you then step away from it and you're able to see it, spread it all out and say, right, okay, that taught me this, this taught me that, this shows me that I'm probably experiencing this because of A, B and C. And it will give you this ability to detach from everything emotionally, and that's going to be important for you guys over this transit, because everyone's emotions are going to be so close to the surface that yours are going to be on overload, because you're going to be picking up everything from everybody. You are the sponge. That's what you do. Do you know what I mean? This can see a really deep soul karmic release of long-standing knots tied in your past, and it can see you examining your past to release old fears, deep patterns, and see you shedding some real baggage and coming out of it a shinier, happier, and ultimately a more liberated soul. You know, a more liberated soul is a powerful soul. So don't be afraid to do the work. Don't be afraid to get down and dirty and delve into it all, because what you learn about yourself, about, you know, all that you are, could be truly, truly illuminating and enlightening. Square to the third house could see surprising insights showing up. It could also see some of you discovering a sibling that you never had. You know, this definitely possible. It really is. There could also be rekindling of old relationships or friendships. It's definitely a possibility. You could see you running into people that you didn't expect to see again. It could also see, it is Uranus after all, so it's going to require you to think fast. It could see you having some really, you know, not necessarily odd, but yeah, it could just see you having some really out there conversations, but conversations that have really amazing results, or enlighten you in some way, shape or form. It could be a really powerful energy for you. And then finally, Venus trining the moon will be lending its ability to take the edges off and see you seeking shelter in your relationships, personal or otherwise, and finding them. It's also worth mentioning that the opposition between your ruler Neptune in your first house and Venus in your seventh. Be sure that you don't project what you need and what you would like from somebody onto them, in a self-illusory tendency of making yourself believe that this person has everything that you're seeking in a relationship. So what do I mean by that massive amount of waffle? Because Venus is opposing Neptune, Venus is about what we love and what we value, and, you know, what we want to be close to. Neptune, your ruler, has no boundaries, so sometimes it can be illusory. And because of the, you know, the seventh house stuff that's taking place there, it will see you asking, with everything else that's happening, just ask yourself, does this person really have these qualities that I admire? Or is it me seeing those things within them? Because everybody's got good or whatever it is that we desire within them. What its degrees are and how natural it comes to them is what varies. So just be really sure, especially around your personal relationships, partner-wise and stuff, even friendships, I guess, that you know you're interacting with people that genuinely do have your best interests at heart, and are, you know, as enlightened or as caring as they say they are. So it's going to be a really deep one for you. Let me know how it plays out, definitely. And finally, your tarot message is the Fool. Absolutely stunning. Lunar eclipse ending, culmination in the 12th house, the last house of the zodiac, your house. This, to me, you know, because the Fool card is a brand new beginning, it's the start of something, it's a brand new precipice, it's new events, new people, new places, new things happening for you. And none of them can be anticipated. The thing is, when the Fool card shows up, it brings you everything new, and it asks you to roll with the energy that's brought in. This lunar eclipse is closing everything down for you, which is why you're being asked to examine your past in such a big way, and it will be closing things off, down, through, or whatever for you. And that's going to be a really powerful thing, because on the other side of it, you have the Fool, and the Fool is about a brand new beginning that is for the best and happiest and brightest of your life. So it's like the full moon, baby being born, pregnancy is ended now, gives birth to a new thing, a new child, a new life. Pisces, you are a new self at the end of this lunar eclipse. You are a powerful, new, shiny being. Use it well. Be wise, be powerful, be loving, be kind. I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, don't forget to press the notification button. For all of you who are already my continued subbies, thank you so much. Press the notification button so that you get updates on my new videos. If you want to reach me for a personal tarot reading, you can do so on the email address below, and there's some other ways that you can interact with the Radiant Reality family as well. Thank you so much for all of your continued support. Don't forget to check out the Retrogradia mini series as well. Take care, and I will see you very soon for more videos.